Next, I'm excited to introduce John Kreul. John joined the New North Board a couple years ago. He is the CIO of Bemis and is currently serving as our chairperson for the newly established Business Intelligence Committee of the New North. This is one of our very important new initiatives this year, and we're excited to hear from John. Welcome. Thanks, John.
Good morning. You know, I think I'm a story of the New North in itself. I spent 15 years down in Chicagoland working, and I moved up here back in 2011. And this is a wonderful place to live and work, and we have absolutely a gem of a community, and we should be very proud of it. And I know I'm really happy that I'm in this community and part of this, part of the New North. I'm also very excited to be part of the Business Intelligence Committee that we started in 2018. It's really looking at research and forward-looking actions and analysis. So to have data that's going to drive the programs and the decisions that we should be making in this region of the world. Looking at trends, disruptive changes, opportunities, and strategy. And are we doing the right things, or do we need to make adjustments? One of the things, too, we talked about today was collaboration and engagement. We have, just starting this committee this year, 14 engaged committee members that care, that want to make a difference. And we've had unbelievable collaboration and thought leadership to really think, where do we want to take this committee and influence the region? Next slide, please. We also have strong sponsorship. Thrivent Foundation, Microsoft, the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation have all been strong partners to help us get our initiatives up and running, and they've been unbelievable support. Our first initiative was to set a baseline, to see where we're at. And we partnered with St. Norbert College and did a business and nonprofit survey to see what people are thinking about, what they're worrying about, what they're thinking about in the future, with a focus on talent. And what we'd like to do today is share our first deliverable of our committee with you and have Jamie Lynch from St. Norbert College come up and share the results of our first survey. So let's give Jamie a big welcome.
This year, the Business Intelligence Committee at the New North partnered with the Strategic Research Institute at St. Norbert College to conduct a study of business perception and risk. I'm delighted to share some of those important findings with you today. The survey included more than 100 assessment and perception questions, and over the next 4 hours, we're going to go over those in excruciating detail. The questions were grouped into 7 broad areas, but today's focus is going to be on risk of disruption and workforce development. But before we get to disruption, I want to share with you a few brief findings from the perception data. Northeast Wisconsin business leaders are optimistic. Most believe economic conditions in their industry and our region are better today than they were a year ago. Our region's business community believes the economy is heading in the right direction. Indeed, most business leaders believe our region has changed for the better in the past 3 years. A vast majority of business leaders support our local educational institutions and hope to see their business-related offerings expand soon. A few brief details about the study. It's a Canvas survey of New North members. Everybody was eligible. It was an online survey conducted from October 1st to 16th of this year. The largest sectors represented are manufacturing, service, and construction. There's a mix of small and moderate companies, both by revenue and employee size. The median size for a company is about 51 to 100 employees, and the median revenue is about $5 to $15 million. Here are some important findings regarding disruption and workforce development in our state, in our region. The Northeast Wisconsin business community believes they're at risk for disruption. 40% of Northeast Wisconsin businesses are highly concerned their business activities or operations will be disrupted by 2020, a mere 13 months away. 2/3 believe they are at some or partial risk of disruption by 2020. The perceived risk of disruption comes in two flavors. First, there is perceived pressure to innovate. For example, 70% of Northeast Wisconsin businesses believe the pressure for innovation in products and services has increased dramatically in the past 3 years. The second perceived risk comes from intense pressure to hire and retain a skilled workforce. For example, a majority of Northeast Wisconsin business leaders report that recruiting competent job applicants is their major business challenge. Risk of disruption is not the same in all sectors. In Northeast Wisconsin, the largest business sectors perceive themselves to be at the lowest risk for disruption. Businesses in smaller sectors see a greater risk. So how do we prevent disruption? The vast majority of Northeast Wisconsin businesses are taking a human talent equals protection approach to limiting disruption. The argument is straightforward. Good workers equals growth. Accordingly, most business leaders believe strengthening the education system, expanding jobs and pay, and developing reskill programs are the most important priorities for our region's business community. Yet business leaders also acknowledge that a labor-centered approach can be limiting. One executive wrote, quote, "The lack of available employees in Northeast Wisconsin due to limited immigration and talent development continues to be the largest burden to business development." Given this very real labor limitation, it's important to note that nearly 40% of surveyed workplaces have not adopted any of 10 common practices to compensate for workforce gaps. Our study results show that most businesses continue to have taken a heavy reliance on current demographics and operations, and few businesses have taken innovative steps to ensure they will have the labor resources needed to be successful in the near or far future. So how can we be successful in the future? Unfortunately, Wisconsin faces a demographic challenge that will render the talent equal protection argument invalid. Wisconsin and the Midwest in general have higher fertility, that's more young people, and still have a lagging workforce. Parts of the country with lower fertility, thus fewer young people, are figuring out how to compensate for workforce gaps that will only grow larger in Wisconsin over time. Thus, solutions that prevent disruption will require innovative thinking that goes beyond talent development. In short, legacy methods of disruption aversion that focus on talent and workforce development might work today, but given the demographic changes coming, are unlikely to prevent disruption in the near future. In Wisconsin, talent does not equal protection from disruption. So what can you do? Here are 3 questions to ask yourself today as you prepare for the future demography of our workforce. First, what is your business doing today to prepare? One respondent wrote, quote, "We saw the age, employee number, diversity issues a long time ago and were able to get ahead of the curve. It's interesting to see that the companies who talk the loudest of what they are doing today are the same ones who weren't listening 5 years ago." Second, what will your business do tomorrow to limit disruption? Another executive wrote, quote, "Finding people with both the skills and experience required has been very challenging, even when recruiting nationally. We are outsourcing some work that might otherwise be done here and have been more flexible in defining eligibility criteria, and yet still see perhaps 1 in 50 qualified candidates for every opening." And finally, what will your business do next year to thrive and limit disruption? If we collectively find good answers to this question, we might read headlines like this in the next few years. Entrepreneurs fuel talent and investment rush to New North. Is the Fox Valley tech boom ready to bust? If we collectively have poor answers to this question, we might see headlines like this. Northeast Wisconsin entrepreneur was quoted, "I couldn't find creative thinking, so I moved to Minneapolis." Uncertainty over worker talent hobbles Northeast Wisconsin businesses. This is just the iceberg of our survey. We have a lot more to share, but I think these are some of the most pertinent results from our study. If you want more information on how to shape your business's future headline, please join us at St. Norbert College to learn more about the New North Business Intelligence Study. You can see a link in your folder in the small handout that's for this study. In the very back page of it, there's a URL that you can use to join us for a conference that's going to focus on these issues and more in later January or early February. During that time, we're going to focus in greater detail on perception of business climate in our region, education and training opportunities, and what we can do to stave off what could be a challenging future. Thank you.
Thank you, Jamie and St. Norbert, for leading the charge on this survey, and I think hopefully the results got you thinking a little bit today. I saw a lot of people taking notes. As you can see from Jamie's survey, disruption is a definite concern. The talent shortages aren't going to go away. We just grabbed this week from 2018 to 2028, 4.6 manufacturing jobs will be needed to be filled, all right? So the talent shortage will increase. Traditional methods, even though we should continue to do them, will not work because we don't have surely enough people. So we need to start thinking and acting differently. And if you were interested in helping us with that thinking as part of the Business Intelligence Committee, please reach out to me or Connie Loden, who's helping us from the New North, to join our team. We're also have the summary of the survey report in your folders, as Jamie mentioned, and we're going to have future-looking programming next year that you can participate in, of which our first program will be a survey results for deeper dive discussion with Jamie and the St. Norbert team that we're going to be programming in early 2019. So I think it's time to face reality of where we're at, and then decide and start critically thinking about where we're going to go to make sure that the New North can thrive in the future. So thank you very much. One of the things that we did also is give an incentive to take the survey. So Schneider has donated Packer tickets. I feel strongly that the people that, Russ, who won these tickets, will be part of a 4-game winning streak to finish off the season. So let's congratulate Russ, and he can see Connie. Connie, where are you? And if you're here, you can come and get the tickets, and congratulations. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bob. Thank you very much.